Okay, let's go.
Good evening, good night, good whatever, good afternoon, whatever time you are listening to this. We are here today, and we're going to talk about something that's not too big, not too much. Everyone knows about this. It's come across everywhere, right? Everyone's talked about it. It's been it's it's been everywhere. It's Hollywood, right? We're going to talk about celebrities and their ties to the paranormal, the occult, everything like that, from some of the top known celebrities to some celebrities from other countries. We're going to talk about 3 or 4 different celebrities that I got. It's going to be it's going to be a short episode, not as long as I normally do, which is fine because I got to jump onto the next stream for TikTok because I got something special planned on that side. So hopefully you joined that and you're a part of that. But yeah, let's get started. And just to let y'all know, with the impending doom that is TikTok, please like, follow, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitch. Um, I even have a another account. What's it called? I don't even know what it's called. Scoops. Yeah, someone recommended Scoops. I started on that, and then it takes me a while to get onto something like that. So yeah, so I'll get back onto that. Oh, and I also got this thing too. For those of y'all watching the podcast episode, I have a device on my stuff that shows me what's on my phone from the other side. That was my son trying to sneak across, but I heard his thundering footsteps. So he's not very sneaky. It's funny though. But yeah, I have this little device here. What it is, it's basically a mirrored camera. From there, it's a mirrored device, so it shows me what's on the front, so I can use the back camera instead of the front camera, which is usually lesser quality. So it's a cool little device. I got it from, hate to say it, from the TikTok shop for cheap. It's a good little device. It's cool. It's up to you if you want to use the TikTok shop. I don't recommend it. I know someone that used it and they got scammed. They lost a bunch of money, whatever, right? But I have a way around that, and I have no problem showing y'all this. I use this when I buy stuff off of TikTok. If the camera will focus, it's called a Ready Card. There you go. That's as focused as it gets. Um, I don't mind showing y'all because this is a prepaid card. So whatever information you can get off that little tiny QR code, guess what? It's like $3. If someone hacked it and took my $3, oh, you know what I mean? So I recommend if you're gonna go and buy something off of the TikTok shop, off of Timu, off of Sheen, off of whatever, no matter where you go, there are services from Capital One, Wells Fargo, that give you a digital card that allow you to alter your information just slightly, but it's still yours. It's just altered. So whenever you input your information, they're not stealing your stuff. It's encrypted. It's all this extra security. Or if you don't want to do that, just get yourself a throwaway, put however much you want on it, buy it, forget it, do whatever you want. And yeah, it's a throwaway. I always recommend people have a throwaway card because you never know what you can use it for. My son's about to come into the room again. I gotta pause for a minute. So yeah, I recommend doing that. That way you don't get scammed. And if you do, guess what? They're only taking what's on that temporary card, that throwaway. But again, that's just me because I got Capital One and Wells Fargo. I also have a digital card which allows me to have um, card information from my main cards. So if anything does happen, it's more encrypted and it doesn't allow that to happen as well as easily. And again, never give your information online to something sketchy. And if you do, again, throwaways are your best friend. Anyways, back to what we were doing. This week's episode will be over celebrities that have or have had ties with the occult or supernatural. And I said have or have had because if it's the supernatural, they may have stayed in a haunted house. They may have whatever, right? So they don't have that connection anymore. And it was just a one and done situation. Or some celebrities are actually gifted and they can sense these things. My camera keeps focusing in and out because I have it on autofocus. You know what? I am dumb. Can I fix that from here? I have to edit this out, aren't I? I'm going to edit this out. Let's see if I can't fix anything here. Close that here. USB device. Echo cancellation not on. Mirror is on. Recording. Video advanced. Nope. Okay, cool. That doesn't do it. I thought it would do it. You know what I wish they would bring back, though? They used to have it. I hate that they took it off. They had at one point a back screen, a green screen. And now that I actually have a good green screen, they took that away. So it's just here now. But I use my green screen when I stream. So it's other stuff, though. Whatever. Anyways. I get sidetracked. ADHD. Okay, so let's continue. There have always been rumors that celebrities across the world all have some tie to the occult or have had some type of pact with the supernatural to gain their talent. With all these rumors of humiliation rituals in Hollywood to the musician making pacts with demons, there have always been these rumors. So are they rumors or are they true stories? Or just that, stories? I talked in circles on that one. Yeah, I write these scripts down, and when I'm in the zone, I tend to go in circles sometimes. The first celebrity we will talk about is Mario Florentino Alfonso Moreno Reyes, or better known as by the Hispanic and Mexican community as Cantinflas. And this one I decided to do because one of my friends sent me this TikTok about it. And Cantinflas is one of the biggest Mexican actors to ever walk the earth, to ever basically be in front of film or on film. And he is also known as Mexico's Charlie Chaplin. So that's how big he was at the time. He was also rubbing shoulders with celebrities and politicians. So he was a big deal. And that name's a real Mexican name too. See how long that was? So let's start with who he was. Born in Mexico City in 1911, he was one of 8 children. His parents were a mail carrier and a former affluent. His mom was a former affluent who was disinherited when she married Pedro Moreno, who was the mail carrier, right? So she was from a rich family. They said, "You're not marrying a commoner," and they disinherited her. They're like, "No, you're not getting any of our money because you're gonna be poor." So, which is fucked up, but that's how life goes sometimes. Or I'll have to bleep that out. I don't have a bleep button on here yet. I do, but I'll edit that later. Anyways. Career. So, like always, if you grow up in different circumstances, your wit and your ability to adapt makes you who you are, which is part of who I am and how I do things too, because I'm very quick witted. I'm very smart, not book smart, but street smart. I know how to get things done. As to like someone who is the complete opposite of me, someone who's from an affluent family, they might not have they might not have the quick wit, but they'll know a lot more things than me. For me, from what I do in the daily my life to what a doctor does, completely different. He'll be able to get things done in his way, and I'll be able to get things done my way. So, just how different people grow up, right? Which what he was best known for was his wit. In 1936, he married Valentina Suparev of Russian descent till the day she died in January 1966. Before her death, he had a child in 1961 by another woman, but his wife loved him and adopted his child. His son passed away in 2017 of a supposed heart attack, and he had a grandson who passed of suicide in 2013. From what I could find, no one else to carry his name or legacy. He had cousins and nephews and nieces, but no direct lineage, right? He was also regarded as a Mexican folk hero, starting Mexico's version of the Screen Actors Guild, or SAG is what it's called in the States. His was named El Sindicato de Trabajadores de la Producción Cinematográfica, or STPC. So, workers of the production of cinematography. And donating to any charity that helped children. He also gave to the Catholic Church and to orphanages. He also had political ties in the States, appearing with Lyndon B. Johnson to show support to the first Hispanic elected to the Texas State Senate. Starting off his career as a circus performer, then slowly moving to theater and finally to Hollywood. Supposedly, the way he created his name, or one of the reasons he created his name, Cantinflas, was a way to keep his true identity a secret from his parents, as they saw his career, or his choice of career, as a disgrace. He had a different way of speaking that led to his roles being iconic. Cantinflas could talk in circles to the point that it was obscure and confusing. It became known as Cantinflando. He was famous to the point that scholars researched his films and life. They then decided that he influenced the spread of the Chicano movement. So he was very affluential in Mexico. He may not have been grown up as a politician or things like that, but his movies reached so many people that it touched everybody. On a rainy day in 1993, he passed away of lung cancer. On the day of his funeral, thousands in Mexico appeared on the streets of Mexico in the rain, of Mexico City, in the rain. The event lasted 3 days and was a national event. So the day he died, it was a 3-day grace of silence. He was also honored by Congress, who held a moment of silence in his name. So that's how influential he was. Even in Congress, on the state side, he was given a moment of silence. So let's get into his involvement into the supernatural. He was supposedly obsessed with mermaids. So from the TikTok and everything that I could find, rumor has it that his last wife was a mermaid. So his wife passed away, right? His Russian descent wife passes away. And then supposedly he gets remarried to a mermaid. So the story goes, one late night, Cantinflas was out at a bar when a stranger came up to him and started chatting with him. During the conversation, Cantinflas told the stranger, whose name was Carlos Lorenzo Hernandez, that his fame and fortune were not enough and that he wanted to marry a mermaid. Expecting the stranger to judge him or laugh at him, he was surprised that he was understanding. The opposite happened. His new friend Carlos gave him a quartz crystal and told him to build a mansion with a statue of himself facing towards the ocean. After construction was completed, he was to stand next to the statue at 2 a.m. And according to legend, he was surprised to see plenty of mermaids. From that day forth, at the mansion, supposedly, Cantinflas, his friends, and the mermaids met up and partied and did other activities. So he was just having a great old time with all the mermaids and his friends. Those close enough that he called friends there. These are just legends. To this day, his mansion remains abandoned. Supposedly, to this day also, mermaids still visit looking for him. That's just one celebrity who supposedly had an event with the supernatural. So that's insane, right? So Cantinflas, the biggest, most influential Hispanic actor, celebrity, was obsessed with mermaids to the point that he built a mansion with a statue of himself holding a quartz crystal, and it summoned mermaids. And there's the TikTok that I got that was sent to me was part of a video from YouTube, which is by an urban explorer who goes to the mansion to explore it, and that's where he talks about it, and the legend comes up from. So I couldn't find anything before that. I did, whenever I do these research, I delve into it as much as I can, but everything kept circling back to this one video from YouTube. So take it with a grain of salt. But let's move on to the next person, Ana Claudia Talancon. These names are just Mexican. A Mexican actress born May 1st, 1980. She has been in soap operas to movies. She's credited as a producer, TV host, actress, and a model. During the making of El Sotano, from what I can find, it is a play that premiered in Mexico theaters, is ironically a horror show. I think it was filmed in the at the location for El Sotano, but it was also like a play thing. I don't know. I looked it up and all I could find was like playwrights and play posters about it, but that's a whole different thing, right? Hold on. I give my son all sorts of trouble. Anyways, back what I was saying. During the making of El Sultano, from what I could find, is a play that premiered in Mexico theaters. Is ironically a horror show, right? During the making of this play in a hacienda in Veracruz, her and her co-star stayed the night, and while she was asleep in her room, she awoke to a sudden noise. So that's what I'm saying. Like I think it's a play, but it was filmed and then it was released in like a theater. But the theater I could find is like a play theater. So I don't know. It's very confusing. And if anyone has any information, please let me know. I'll gladly redact anything that I get wrong. So, anyways, let's get back to the story. Just because it gets good from this point on. As her eyes adjusted to the darkness, she saw a shadow figure at the door trying to open the door. Soon this figure made its way across the room and leaned against the wall. As she laid in her bed in fear, she said she could feel the eyes of whatever the shadow was on her. As she gained the courage to ask who it was, her words failed her. Soon she was able to turn on the lights. So she gathered enough courage to turn on the lights, right? With the lights on, she saw that nobody was there. Soon she turned the lights off and tried to go back to sleep, and once again could feel eyes on her, but this time she felt a hand on her shoulder and heard voices. This was not the last incident that took place. The next thing that happened became known as the Night of Nightmares. She had to endure new manifestations, such as her bed being moved violently, as if it was in a horror movie. Like when those, like in poltergeist movies where the bed starts shaking, The Exorcist, things like that. That's what was happening to her. After these incidents and filming of this play, the actress discovered that the hacienda was the place of over 200 hangings that happened during the Mexican Revolution. These events have turned her into a believer in the paranormal. Like I said, this is going to be a short one. That was a short little story because celebrity ghost stories are usually pretty just cut and dry, very quick and to the point, along with all the paranormal and occult and things like that. It's never really too much of a big deal because they're celebrities. There's a lot more things that people want to know other than did you see a ghost and what happened, right? So we've talked about cryptids, the supernatural. Now onto the occult. And this may not be the occult. This could also fall under the category of supernatural, but I called it the occult just because everyone else calls it that, but it's not really an occult thing. It's just supernatural. The next one is going to be over one of the world's most famous soccer stars, Lionel Messi. Whether he knows it or not, he had assistance in one of the most famous soccer spectacles around the world. During the Copa Mundial, or the World Cup, and was in what was supposed to be his final event before his retirement, having lost to Saudi Arabia and struggling to play, Lionel Messi was on TV when Magali Martinez, a witch and part-time babysitter, was watching his game and saw something that no one else could see. She claimed that Messi had been cursed with the evil eye. She then proceeded to fill a bowl with oil and began chanting a prayer to assist Messi. The belief that if the oil pooled in the center of the bowl proved that he was in fact cursed. According to her, it did pool in the center. She then began her campaign on social media and asked other witches to help rid Messi of his curse. Shortly after that, Argentina had gained momentum and went on to defeat Mexico, Poland, Netherlands, and Croatia to make it to the finals. When the finals began, the group's biggest challenge yet began. I'm stumbling over my words. During the finals, this group of witches, because she started a campaign online, right? So she got a bunch of other witches to help her. They faced their biggest challenge to absorb all the negative energy that was being thrown at them from the French team. With their numbers upwards of 300 and growing, the group was suffering from headaches, nausea, dizzy spells, and more due to the amount of negative energy that they were channeling. During the match, they sent a message that told other witches to not to attempt to send negative energy to the French team due to them being protected by evil forces, and that their intent could bounce back to them. Soccer fans around the world believe to a degree and have some type of belief in the supernatural, but these witches were on another level. So anyone that watches soccer, anyone that watches sports and that is really into the sports team and all that stuff always has some kind of lucky charm, good luck ritual, whatever, right? Oh, if I wear this shirt on this game, we're gonna win, and all this other stuff, right? No matter who you are, you have some kind of belief. Whether you admit it or not, there's always something that you do either subconsciously or consciously, and that's part of your belief system, right? So like, whenever I watch the games, when they're about to score a touchdown for American football, I have to be drinking something, right? Something like that, right? Everyone has their own belief. But these were witches that were there on a mission. On the last day of the World Cup, Argentina versus France, with witches on the side of Argentina and evil forces on the side of France, it was to be a supernatural battle of the ages. Nobody knows if any of this is true, but with Argentina struggling at the beginning of the World Cup and resulting in them winning the World Cup, could it be that the victory was another worldly win, or just skill of one of the greatest soccer teams of all time? Only those that saw and participated in that game will be the only ones to know the truth. So, only those that were there and only the witches will know if it was true or not. Did they have help? Was it really a supernatural victory? Or was it Argentina's just a really good team? We'll never. I love pomegranate juice. I got my liquid death and my palm. My internet's acting up today. I don't know why or what is wrong with it. All celebrities are subject to these rumors or have their own accounts of things that have happened to them. The next one we're going to talk about is the iconic actress that played Selena Quintanilla in the iconic movie Selena, Jennifer Lopez. She's had her fair share of rumors and accusations since the 90s. Her first husband, Ohani Noah, has accused the star of performing Santeria. Santeria is a practice that combines Catholic and Yoruba of West Africa beliefs. It is a practice that is also mixed with what is known as Espiritismo, or spiritualism, which is used to contact those that have departed. Her first husband has stated that he and J-Lo both went to his magic godmother, who is now J-Lo's spiritual leader. Ohani and J-Lo both participated in various practices together, including sacrificing chickens and hens. During one of these ceremonies, J-Lo was covered in the blood of a chicken, and then she was cleansed in holy water to wash away the blood and the herbs that were passed over her body. All the while, the godmother was asking the gods to cleanse Jennifer and to save their marriage. That was what her first husband reported. With J-Lo's recent divorce to Ben Affleck, it is said that she has delved deeper into her beliefs. Sources close to the star is that her abilities are getting better and she is able to manifest situations and has shown unbelievable skill in Santeria. Ben Affleck is supposedly really superstitious and is actually trying to end his marriage on good terms so as to not incur her wrath. So that he's trying to be buddy buddies because he doesn't want to be cursed. And he believes in this kind of stuff. There have been multiple people that have come forth and told the public that she was a practitioner of Santeria, which is sometimes called the dark arts or, an occult religion, but it's just a religion. In reality, it is a religion of the spiritual that runs alongside Catholicism. It's just a misunderstood. I will never put any religion down. There will be some form of extremism, and those might be on the bad side due to the nature and beliefs that they have. But that does not mean all religion is bad. That does not mean anything. Whatever you believe in is whatever you believe in. As long as you don't delve too much into what is known as extremism, which is where you get like, I don't want to name like the big bads, but yeah, there's a couple bad ones out there. And those are just extremism, and the most popular one that people love to throw under the bus is Muslims and things like that. No. Every religion has its place and has its purpose to heal those that believe in those religions. There's no such thing as a bad religion. Now, if you're an extremist, that's a whole another story. Your beliefs push you a little bit further, and that's when decisions can be seen as troublesome, and that's where problems happen, right? We don't want to get that far. Always have an open mind. And those might be on the bad side due to the nature and beliefs that they have. That does not necessarily mean the people are bad. It's just a way of thought. For Americans, it could be evangelists. I personally believe evangelists are an extreme form of the Christian faith. There's some very hardcore believers in evangelists who will send money to them through the mail to be cured of whatever ails them because you're going to send a prayer to them, things like that. That's a form of extremism, but it's also not just an extremism. It's also they're preying on people's beliefs. It's a whole nother issue. Don't get me started on that. Or some other form of extremism. Most people don't realize that it is a form of that. Most people are just already a part of these due to the upbringing. But like I always say, we are one people. All religions and thoughts on spiritualism are really all the same. From stories like Gilgamesh and the story of Moses and the Great Flood, all stories are related, and so are we. I know this one was a short story or a short episode, but it is the holidays. And until next time, happy Turkey Day, Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving, or whatever you celebrate this time of year, whether it be the above mentioned or some other form of holiday for the harvest. So until next time, stay spooky, everybody. And yeah, be safe on the holidays. Later, guys.